The MLB has a problem, and they realize it, and they finally decided to make a change in 2023. The league-wide batting average in 2022 was 243 with an average on-base percentage of 312. Now that we have these numbers, let's go all the way back to 2012, where the league-wide batting average was 255 and the on-base percentage was 319. That's a 12-point difference in batting average and a 7-point difference in on-base percentage. Not too drastic of a difference, but a difference nonetheless. If we take an even deeper dive all the way back to 2002, the league-wide batting average was 261 and on-base percentage was a staggering 331. Those are drastic differences from 2022. To put this into perspective, 2021 All-Star Bo Bichette and 2021 and 2022 AL hit leader Bo Bichette had a 333 on-base percentage. If you stuck Bo back in 2002, he would be considered a borderline average on-base guy. But now in 2022, he's a great on-base guy. But Bo isn't the only player who would be considered an average on-base guy just 20 years ago. But why are we seeing such a drastic decrease in these numbers? You could blame the fact that MLB players are striking out at an all-time rate, which is true. You could blame the fact that MLB players are aiming for more launch angle instead of hardline drives nowadays, which is also true. And you could blame the fact that pitchers are better than ever, which is up to you. And while a lot of things account for these numbers dropping, one of the biggest reasons we're seeing these drops is the shift's rising popularity over the past few years. But what happens now that the shift is gone in 2023? There's no doubt the MLB wants more offense. After all, it is what attracts fans. No casual or new baseball fan wants to see hard ground balls or line drives hit into a hole where there happens to be a defender standing completely out of position. They want more action, more runs, more RBIs, more hits, and I can't say I blame them. I mean, when an infield looks like this, is it really even baseball anymore? And I've heard the argument, they're professional hitters, just hit the ball where the defenders aren't. I mean, after all, how hard can it be to hit a ball in a wide open left side of the infield? And while I do see their point, MLB players nowadays aren't looking to hit sinking line drives or hard ground balls to the infield. It's not 1970 anymore. Players want launch angle, exit velocity, and hard hit rate. So they're at the dish swinging early and often, trying to hit the ball as hard as they can at a specific angle that gives them the best chance to hit a deep ball to the outfield and maybe even over the fence. So when players are swinging super hard and trying to hit a ball at a certain launch angle, they tend to pull the ball. And in an MLB where a lot of players are trying to do this, it makes it very predictable. And you can simply just put all 9 of your players on one side of the field. I mean, the Padres put their third baseman in right field. Now some may ask, is banning the shift really going to make that big of a difference? And for some players, yes, and for some players, no. So let's look at some stats. But before we do this, these stats are based off WOBA, which is short for weighted on base average. It basically measures how a player reached base rather than if they just got on base at all. According to Fangraphs, a walk is worth 0.69, a hit by pitch is worth 0.722, a single is worth 0.888, a double is worth 1.271, a triple is worth 1.616, and a home run is worth 2.101. So a home run is more than a walk, a double is worth more than a single. Here's a formula to help you understand. So let's say a player had 5 plate appearances, and he had a home run, which is worth 2.101, and he also got walked, which is worth 0.69. So let's take the home run plus the walk and divide it by 5 plate appearances. That will give the player a 0.558 WOBA for the day. That's a lot, I know. So let me just tell you what's good, what's bad, and what's average. An average WOBA would be around 320, a good WOBA would be around 340 to 370, and anything above 370 is elite. A bad WOBA is 290 to 310, and anything below 290 is very, very, very bad. Now that we have these numbers, let's take a look at some players. Let's start off with 2022 All-Star and World Series champion Kyle Tucker. He was shifted 90.9% of his at-bats, which was 355 plate appearances in 2022. When he was shifted, he had a 336 WOBA, and judging by what I said earlier, that's a pretty good WOBA. But in his 9.1% of his at-bats where he wasn't shifted, he had an absurd 549 WOBA. Judging by what I said earlier, that is unbelievably elite. And it was a small sample size with 55 plate appearances, but that is just such an absurd difference. It makes you wonder, how good can Kyle Tucker be in 2023? Let's take a look at some players with a larger sample size. MJ Melendez was shifted in 78.2% of his at-bats, which was 416 plate appearances, where he had a bad 278 WOBA. Then in his at-bats where he wasn't shifted, which was 21.8% of the time, and 116 plate appearances, he hit for an elite 418 WOBA. So just by taking the shift off Melendez, he went from a below average hitter to an elite hitter. And will we see MJ Melendez become an elite hitter in 2023 now that the shift is gone? Maybe not, maybe, I don't know, we'll just have to wait and see. But this impact doesn't just translate to every single player. I've seen a lot of hype translated into Cody Bellinger now that the shift is gone. And Cody Bellinger does get shifted 90.5% of his at-bats where he had a 283 WOBA. And when he wasn't shifted 9.5% of his at-bats, he had a 302 WOBA. An improvement, yes, but is it still below average? Yes. And he's not the only one that's like this. There's several players where taking out the shift doesn't have any effect at all, or sometimes even makes them worse. So do I personally think banning the shift is going to have a drastic effect on baseball? Probably not. But do I think we're going to see a difference? Yes, I think we're going to see a rise in batting average, on base percentage, and hits in 2023. But do I think it's overall going to be a huge rise? Probably not. And that's just because pitchers are so good and hitters are striking out so much that it's unlikely we're going to see a massive jump. But all in all, I'm excited to see how it's going to play out in the new season. Once again, thank you guys for watching my YouTube channel. For more Batter's Eye, check out my Instagram and TikTok at batters_eye. I post more on there. I appreciate all you guys. Please like, subscribe, and comment what you think about this video, and I'll see you in the next one.